The Mummy wasn't supposed to work, it was too chaotic, too expensive, and the director was literally terrified he was making a disaster. They couldn't even film where mummies actually come from. The lead actress hated horror movies, and the villain had to get full body waxed for his job. But somehow, it became a blockbuster that changed Hollywood forever. Here are 20 weird facts about the Mummy you didn't know, and they're stranger than any ancient curse. When studios panic and directors go rogue. Fact 1. The director took out kidnapping insurance on his stars. Picture this. Stephen Sommers, sitting in a studio meeting, casually asking for kidnapping insurance. Not for himself, for Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz. This wasn't Hollywood paranoia. They were filming in Morocco during political instability, and the production needed actual military protection. Sommers was so worried about his cast getting abducted that he made Universal pay for specialized insurance policies. Imagine explaining that to your accountant. So, we need to insure our actors against kidnapping? Fact 2. They couldn't film in Egypt because it was too dangerous. A mummy movie that couldn't film where mummies come from. The ultimate irony. Egypt was off limits due to unstable political conditions, so they packed up their entire desert adventure and moved to Morocco instead. The country that invented mummies was too risky for a mummy movie. The crew spent months in Marrakech, pretending it was ancient Egypt, while dealing with extreme heat and constant security concerns. Fact 3. The studio demanded Americans only, until they met Rachel Weisz. Universal had one rule: cast Americans, period. No British accents, no foreign stars, just good old American heroes. Then Rachel Weisz walked into her audition, and auditioned again, and again, 15 times total. She was so perfect for the role that they literally rewrote the character's entire nationality just for her. Evelyn O'Connell went from American librarian to British Egyptologist, because one actress was too good to ignore. Fact 4. It started as a cheap horror film, and became an $80 million gamble. The original script was a traditional, low-budget horror movie. Think classic Universal monster vibes with practical effects and jump scares. Stephen Sommers took one look at it, and said, what if we made it huge instead? He transformed a small horror project into a massive action-adventure spectacle, convincing the studio to spend $80 million on what was essentially his wild experiment. The studio executives probably needed therapy after approving that budget increase. Fact 5. Arnold Vosloo went on a mummy diet. Playing an ancient Egyptian priest in a loincloth comes with unexpected requirements. Arnold Vosloo was carrying some extra weight, and realized Imhotep's costume left very little to hide. So he quit alcohol, cut out sugar, and lost 15 pounds specifically to fit into ancient Egyptian underwear. Method acting at its finest. The future mummy was literally dieting to look good while decomposing on screen. Fact 6. The female lead hated horror movies. Rachel Weisz, star of one of the biggest monster movies ever made, actively avoided the horror genre. She thought horror films were genuinely scary and preferred to stay away. But she saw The Mummy as hokum, more like a comic book adventure than actual horror. She signed on thinking it would be fun, not frightening. The irony, she became the queen of monster movies without ever wanting to make one. Fact 7. Arnold Vosloo had to become completely hairless. Playing Imhotep required full-body hair removal every single day. Vosloo spent most of his scenes shirtless in ancient Egyptian garb, which meant no room for any stray chest hair, leg stubble, or even arm hair. Professional waxing became part of his job description. He later admitted this was his least favorite aspect of the role. Being an undead villain, fine. Full body waxing, absolutely not. Fact 8. The cast needed military protection. The Moroccan military officially supported the production, providing security and logistics. But that wasn't enough for the studio's comfort level. Between the political instability, extreme filming conditions, and valuable equipment, the production felt like a military operation itself. Cast members had armed escorts to and from set. Brendan Fraser went from fighting fake mummies to having real soldiers as bodyguards. Fact 9. The villain took his role more seriously than anyone expected. While everyone else embraced the campy adventure tone, Arnold Vosloo played Imhotep absolutely straight. He told Sommers he wanted to treat it like a skewed version of Romeo and Juliet. The villain was the only one taking the love story seriously in a movie about CGI scarabs and reanimated corpses. His dramatic commitment actually grounded the entire film and made the supernatural elements more believable. Fact 10. Rachel Weisz's nightgown caused a digital crisis. During the ship attack scene, Weisz's white nightgown got wet, and became completely transparent. This created an unexpected R-rated moment in what was supposed to be a family adventure. The solution: digital artists spent weeks painting white fabric onto an already clothed actress. In post-production, they literally had to digitally dress someone who was already wearing clothes. Without this digital intervention, The Mummy would have lost its PG-13 rating over a wet night. When accidents become magic. Fact 11. They convinced a real university to let them destroy books. The library destruction scene was filmed at the University of Toronto's Thomas Fisher Rare Book Library. Yes, a real rare book library agreed to let Hollywood simulate destroying priceless ancient texts. The university staff probably had nightmares watching their sacred space get cinematically demolished, even if it was all movie magic. Fact 12. They were secretly pioneering the future of movies. The Mummy used revolutionary motion capture technology that would later create Gollum, Caesar from Planet of the Apes, and modern Marvel heroes. John Burton Jr., the ILM visual effects supervisor, explained they needed a character that's completely non-human but moves believably human. They were solving problems that wouldn't become industry standard for another decade. Fact 13. 17 weeks of constant desert chaos. Principal photography lasted 17 weeks of pure madness. Extreme heat, military escorts, equipment failures, and the constant threat of political instability. The cast and crew survived over 4 months of filming in conditions that would make most productions pack up and go home. Fact 14. The Mummy's makeup was a daily 4-hour prison. Transforming actors into various stages of mummification required 4 hours of prosthetic work every single day. Some actors spent more time in makeup chairs than actually filming. By the end of production, the makeup team could mummify someone faster than most people can get ready for work. Fact 15. Multiple accidents stayed in the final cut. Several genuine reactions to malfunctioning props and unexpected physical comedy became part of the movie's charm. When things went wrong, they often went wrong in ways that were too good to cut. The film's authentic reactions came from authentic chaos. A.k.a. one chaotic production changed everything. Fact 16. Rachel Weisz refused to return and killed the franchise. Weisz took one look at the script for The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, and said absolutely not. Her refusal to return effectively ended the franchise's heart and soul. Without her chemistry with Brendan Fraser, the third film became a critical disaster that nobody talks about. The absence of one actress destroyed the entire series. Sometimes saying no to a sequel is the kindest thing you can do for your legacy. Weisz chose wisely. Fact 17. It accidentally created modern blockbuster template. What was meant to be a monster movie homage became the blueprint for CGI-heavy action adventure. Pirates of the Caribbean, Marvel movies and every modern adventure film borrowed the Mummy's formula. They created a template without realizing it. Comedy plus action plus romance plus spectacular effects equals blockbuster gold. Every studio spent the next decade trying to recreate this accidental formula. Most of them failed spectacularly. Fact 18. The director was terrified the whole time. Stephen Sommers recently admitted he was genuinely scared throughout production, that he was creating an expensive disaster instead of a blockbuster. The man who created one of the most successful adventure films ever was convinced it would be a career-ending failure. He spent months expecting to be fired. Success feels different when you're living through the chaos. Sommers thought he was failing while accidentally succeeding. Fact 19. It spawned 2 decades of failed Universal monster reboots. The success convinced Universal that all their classic monsters could work as action franchises. This led to countless failed attempts, including the disastrous 20s. One successful film inspired 20 years of expensive mistakes. Universal kept trying to recreate lightning in a bottle, and kept getting electrocuted instead. The Dark Universe was supposed to be their Marvel. Instead it became their cautionary tale about franchise hubris. Fact 20. It's still the only successful Universal monster reboot. Despite millions spent on reboots, sequels, and reimaginings, no other Universal monster movie has captured the Mummy's perfect balance of horror, comedy, and adventure. Sometimes cinematic magic is just unrepeatable chaos that somehow works. Every attempt to systematically recreate this success has failed. The Mummy remains proof that the best blockbusters can't be engineered, they have to be survived. It started as a disaster waiting to happen. Kidnapping insurance, military protection, a cast that hated their genres, and a director convinced he was failing. But somehow that beautiful disaster became a classic that changed how Hollywood makes adventure movies. If you're into strange movie secrets and Hollywood's weirdest production stories, Hit subscribe because we're just getting started with the chaos behind your favorite film.